I want to thank everybody for coming out. Couldn't have asked for a better day in terms of weather and atmosphere. We started out the year with a bunch of bad weather games, so it was great this time of the year to have that type of weather. So that was great. Good win. Obviously good win. We're getting better. Staying positive works. We're getting better. So been pleased with that. Some highlights from the game. Troy Reeder with his first career interception, huge play. I don't know whether this is a highlight or not, but seventh offensive line combination to start 9 games. Brian Guy's the only player to start every game, so that's been great. Nassib has had a sack in 9 straight games, the longest streak at Penn State since I think 2000, since the NCAA stat started in 2000. Defense has had a sack in 31 straight games, the longest streak since sacks became an NCAA stat. Defense has had at least 5 tackles for a loss in 16 games, the longest streak since 1997 to 2000, I guess 38 games. And then Christian Hackenberg, I think a lot of times people find reasons to be critical. To me, the most important statistic is touchdown to interception ratio. He's done a great job of that. In our last 6 games, 12 touchdowns to 0 interceptions. 4 games with 250 plus passing yards. So once again, Christian Hackenberg, positive stat I'm going to give you guys all. Okay, 12 touchdown passes and 0 interceptions. Very important statistic for quarterbacks. The 39-point win is the largest margin of victory in a Big Ten game since 2008. And the shutout is the first in a Big Ten game since Minnesota in 2009. And the largest shutout since 2002. So some positive things. We got to get better. We had some issues in the first half with clock management. We were concerned that we were going to get a fake punt. We had some situations there. We got to get cleaned up where we went safe punt, and they went with regular personnel. We got to just trade our free safety and our punt returner. It's an easy change. We didn't do a good job managing that. We'll get that cleaned up and we'll learn from it. But overall, I thought we did some nice things. So open up the questions.
James, you were able to keep them in a lot of 2nd and 3rd and long situations. How important was that, and what were some of the keys to keeping them in those situations?
Yeah, we looked at a couple of things. Their quarterback, when he was pressured, we looked at those statistics. Those were significant for us in our game plan. The other thing was man coverage. This is a guy I got tremendous respect for. I think he's really, really accurate. And we just felt like all week long we wanted to make sure that we were playing tight coverage, contested coverage, and whether it's cover 1, whether it's 2-man, things like that. We wanted to disguise and hold our coverages as long as we possibly could because we got a veteran play caller, they got a veteran quarterback, and if you just line up and show them what you're doing, then they got a chance to get the right play in. So I thought we did a good job of those things. And then we just mixed it up. We still played some zone, mixed it in, some zone pressures. And I felt like Bob and the defensive staff kind of kept them off balance for most of the day.
James, to your left, do you think this was your most complete game since you've been at Penn State? And if so, why?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I thought we played well. I thought we played well in all 3 phases. There's some things that we got to get cleaned up. I was disappointed with the fumbled punt there at the end of the game. It almost put us in a situation to lose the shutout. I thought we had a couple plays and opportunities to make plays where it turned into 3 and outs. We had some drop balls, but overall, that's being nitpicky. Overall, I thought we played really well. I think offensively we mixed the run, the pass, and the shots plays pretty well. We had some issues early on with our running backs in pass protection where we missed some things. We gave up some sacks, but overall, we did well. The kicking situation. Kicking the ball out of bounds and getting 2 PATs blocked. That was a combination of 2 things. The kicks were low, very low. And then, we typically go live with PAT field goal in practice, and we came out of the pads. And, we lost Chaz Wright, who'd been starting for us at guard at 340 pounds. And we pull him out and put man in that spot. We don't get any live reps in practice, and we got way too much push. So we got to get those things cleaned up. We either got to put a man on a weight gaining diet, or we got to get Big Chaz back.
James, you talked about another starting offensive line combination. Can you talk about the challenges that come along with having all these different combinations playing, and just what your general assessment was of how they look today?
I think it goes back to what we talked about earlier in the year. We got better practice depth, but at some positions like the O-line, we still don't have the type of game depth we need. So what I mean by that, I think you guys understand what I'm saying. When your tackle goes down, we don't have a backup tackle just to go in. So not only do you have guys backups coming in the game, but now when that backup comes, usually two other guys are moving positions. So we just played a team that started the same 5 offensive linemen all year long for 2 years now. That's how we've had to manage it. But it is what it is. We got to keep developing those young players on our roster. And then we got to continue creating depth the way we're doing it by guys playing multiple positions. It's not ideal because when you have an inexperienced guy and he's not just focused on one position, you're moving around in practice and you're moving around in games, causes some issues. So hopefully we'll have Nelly back this week. That would be helpful for us.
James, you mentioned Christian. He seemed really sharp at the beginning of the game, and his short passing game seemed to be improved. Is that something you guys have been focused on? What did you see in those couple of moments?
We work on those things all the time, I think, as you guys know, but I did think starting out the game with an easy completion helped him. Then we went and ran a naked, and the ball was a little bit low, and the receiver went down and got it and made a play for him early, so he was able to get into a rhythm. And there's some games, either we've missed some throws or dropped some balls, and then it's hard to get into a rhythm. I thought we started a lot cleaner as a football team this week. And, again, like I said, I think, quarterbacks are graded by touchdown to interception ratio, third down percentage, red zone, and obviously, most importantly, wins and losses. And in a lot of those statistics, he's doing really well. So, I'm pleased with him. I'm pleased with the whole offense and how they've battled through it. And like I said earlier, staying positive, works.
James, over here. You had, Christian had 7 completions to 7 different receivers today. Continuing to get more players involved in the offense, how has that been important?
Yeah, I think it's been great. I screamed at one point during the game. You got receivers making plays. You got tight ends making plays. You got running backs, multiple running backs making plays. We're working hard to develop these guys. We're working hard of coming up with ways to get guys touches in space so they can make plays. And those guys are coming through. And I think what's nice compared to maybe last year, when you game plan for us now, it's not stop this guy. There's multiple guys that can hurt you. So, obviously, Jasicki coming in making plays. It's just been good. It's been good. It's good to see a lot of guys get involved. That creates a healthy locker room. And that creates opportunities for a bunch of guys to impact the game in whatever role they may have.
James, you talked a few weeks ago about gadget plays. A great one today with Christian catching the touchdown pass. So what did you see on that play? And was that in the bag for a couple of weeks? That one?
Yeah, most of our plays like that. It's not like we just started working on them on Thursday. These are plays we worked for multiple weeks, multiple looks, kind of letting them marinate, waiting for the right time to call them, and building confidence in practice. But yeah. I thought Hack was awesome today. Made a bunch of big throws. That one scramble he had, I was like, throw it away! And then he kind of made that guy miss, and then the next guy comes up, and I'm like, throw it away! And he makes that guy miss, and then he gets the first down. I'm like, awesome. Great play. Just the way we planned it, So, and then he catches a touchdown pass. So, some guys are pro style passers, some guys are dual threat passers, and then some guys hurt you in all 3 phases, and that's Hack. He can hurt you with his legs, he can hurt you as a receiver, and he can hurt you as a passer. Awesome. Sir.
Yeah, it must have made you feel real good with that third down. You must have had some great adjustments at halftime, because in the third period, you were 5 for 5 in the red zone, only 1 penalty through 3 periods, and a real shutdown. And they had 138 yards offense at half, and at the end of the third period, they had 132, -6. Well, you only dream about periods like that.
I tell you what, I love you. You never ask me a question. You make really positive statements. I would really strongly recommend in the future you sit right here in Corey's chair, make a switch, and then after your comment about my physique last week, it kind of motivated me, so I worked out 2 days this week. So thank you very much, sir.
Your last 3 games of the season, it's a difficult stretch. What did today's win, specifically the shutout, do from a confidence standpoint to put your team in the best foot going forward into those final 3 games? Of course.
I'm enjoying today's win. We're 1-0 this week. We had a good win. Fans came out and supported us. We had a great environment. Driving that bus from the hotel through all the tailgaters and the RV is awesome. We're going to enjoy this win. In the press conference, I'll talk about next week. At our media after practice session that we have, I'll talk about next week. I'm not talking about a 3-game stretch. I'm talking about Illinois and the great win that we had today. I love the 12 o'clock games. I know nobody else does, but I love them because we get to go see our families for a couple hours after the game and enjoy it. Want our guys to go out and enjoy themselves tonight, make great choices, and represent Penn State the right way. To wake up tomorrow and get back to work.
Time for 2 more. Coach, after last week's win against Maryland, you said that you were hoping for a little bit of an easier one to come along your way. Was this that easier win, or at least did you have a little bit more fun this week?
Nothing is easy. Nothing is easy in the Big Ten. Nothing is easy, with the work that we have here at Penn State. I thought we capitalized on some opportunities tonight is what we did. But got a lot of respect for the University of Illinois, got a lot of respect for their coaching staff and their players. We're just fortunate that we made some plays tonight. We played together as a family. So proud of our guys. We're getting better. We're getting better. Didn't start out the season the way any of us would have liked. A lot of people wanted us to panic. We're not going to. We're going to stay positive. We're going to love these kids. We're going to stick together as a family, and we're going to keep coaching. We're going to get better. And I think that's what we're doing. And then we need to do that again this week. The players made a case for us to modify practice again like we did last week. It worked for us. We'll look at doing that again.
Yeah, James, as you know, their offensive line is quite good at protecting the quarterback. And in the first quarter, they did that. And when they had a lot of time, then you started to get to them a little more. What changed? What adjustments were made?
I don't think really a whole lot changed. That's kind of who we are. If you go back and look at us, we wear people down with our pass rush. A lot of our sacks and a lot of our production in terms of pressures and sacks come later in the games. That's because we rotate a lot of guys and keep them fresh. That's because we're, in spots like Carl Nassib, we're big and physical. You got a 275-pound defensive end who brings it every play. Wear them down. We have we got 4 guys that can make plays. Garrett Sickles is really starting to come on for us right now. So I think that's kind of more of our MO. Our defensive staff kind of gets more comfortable with what they're doing. And then our D-line just kind of wears people down as the game goes on, and it creates opportunities. I think the other thing, let's be honest, they're a throwing team, so you're going to get a lot of opportunities. So I think it's more a combination of those things than us, going in and recreating the wheel at halftime. Sir.
Thank you, Coach.
Guys, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Have a great day and a great weekend.
Thank you.